Happy summer! Yay! I don't know about you guys, but I've been waiting all year for the first day of summer. I am just at my best when it's nice and sunny and beautiful out. And the summer reads are seriously such a vibe. They just really bring summer to life. I want to talk about some books that I'm really hoping that I can get to this summer. A lot of these have been on my TBR for a while now. Some of them also I'm very late to the game on. I have 5 books from my physical TBR and 5 books that I hope to maybe get from my local library. Let's start with the physical books that I have. In no specific order as usual, but first up we have Book Lovers by Emily Henry. I have read most of Emily Henry's most popular books. I still need to read Great BBL and obviously Book Lovers, and then I have the rest of her backlist that isn't really talked about as much, but I feel like this is one of the big ones that people talk about, so I cannot wait to dive into this. Okay, so we're following Nora, who is a cutthroat literary agent, when her little sister begs her to go on a sister's trip to Sunshine Falls, North Carolina. But when they get there, Nora keeps bumping into Charlie Lastra, a bookish, brooding editor from back in the city. So it's giving rivals to lovers, maybe? They're thrown together again and again in a series of coincidences no editor worth their salt would allow. What they discover might just unravel the carefully crafted stories they've written about themselves. What I love most about Emily Henry is she really throws you into the location of the book. She's very good at describing the setting, and it just really brings the books to life. I've heard that this is some people's favorites. I've heard that people don't like this as much. Everybody has a lot of differing opinions around Emily Henry and their rankings and statuses and everything. So right now, my favorite Emily Henry book is People We Meet on Vacation. So I'm very interested to see where this is going to land in the lineup for me. Next up is Anxious People by Frederick Bachman. This was on my TBR a couple months ago and I never got to it, and I was very sad about that because Frederick Bachman is very quickly becoming, I think, maybe my absolute favorite author. Can I even say that? I have so many favorite authors. So in this, an apartment open house becomes a hostage situation when the bank next door gets robbed and the bank robber bursts into the open house and takes everyone hostage. And in Frederick Bachman fashion, we are kind of weaving throughout every single character who's involved in this, and I guess kind of just learning how they came to be where they are, including the police, the hostages, and the bank robbers. I've said it so many times that it's probably annoying and disgusting at this point, but Frederick Bachman just understands the human condition like no other author that I've ever read from. His books are profound to me, so I'm very excited to dive into this and to more of his work later on. Next up, one that I'm very late to again, very late, 5 years late, is Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Pretty sure this was a book talk book back in 2020 or something. We're essentially following this band in the late 1970s. A lot of people like to say that this is an ode to Fleetwood Mac, which I love Fleetwood Mac. Daisy is a girl coming of age in LA in the late 60s, sneaking into clubs, sleeping with rock stars. The sex and drugs are thrilling, but it's the rock and roll she loves most. By the time she's 20, her voice is getting noticed. Also getting noticed is The Six, a band led by brooding Billy Doon. Daisy and Billy cross paths when a producer realizes that the key to supercharged success is to put the two together. What happens next will become the stuff of legend. I think most people that I have seen read this have been absolutely obsessed with this. I've also heard that the audiobook is amazing because it is kind of like a interview style. People say that it's almost like a podcast when you're listening to it. Yeah, I don't know. Am I going to listen to the audiobook or read it? Maybe I'll go back and forth. I don't know, but I'm very excited for this one. The 5-Star Weekend by Ellen Hilderbrand. 2 years ago, I read The Hotel Nantucket by Ellen Hilderbrand and I was obsessed with it. I am hooked on Ellen Hildebrand, and I've only read one of her books, so I just can't wait to get into the rest of her backlist. I feel like this is one of her most popular books. So we're following Hollis Shaw, who is a recent widow. She learns about this thing in a blog, I believe, called the 5-Star Weekend, where this girl set up a vacation for her best friend and made it like phases of her best friend's life, like the teenage years, the 20s, whatever. And she decides to host her own 5-Star Weekend in Nantucket. But the husband of Hollis's childhood friend arranges for Hollis's first love, Jack Finnegan, to spend time with them, stirring up old feelings. If this is anything like the Hotel Nantucket, there will be juicy drama and romance and the perfect summer setting. The last book that I have on my physical TBR that I want to pick up is Dragon Fruit by Makia Lucier. I've had this book since I think last fall, and I've been waiting until summer to pick it up because it just seems like such a tropical and fun read for summer. In this, we are following Hannah, who is the cherished daughter of an old island family. Her father steals a sea dragon egg that's meant for an ailing princess, and she's forced into a life of exile. In the years that follow, she finds solace in studying the majestic sea dragons that roam the Nami Nami Sea, until one day when an encounter with a female dragon offers her what she desires most, which is a chance to return home. Her friend Sam's mother is ill, and when Hannah returns, they go on an exciting adventure together to search for the dragon fruit, which will cure his mom. I think this is YA. Don't quote me on that, but I believe it's YA. This just sounds like such a fun tropical adventure to me, and I love anything with mythical creatures also. All right, now let's talk about the 5 books that I hope to get from my library. The first is Only for the Weak by Natasha Bishop. I think this has been on my TBR for 2 years now. It's been on my list for a long time, and if I'm not mistaken, I believe it takes place in the summer. So basically, we're following this girl who ends up going to one of her friends' weddings, I believe, or somebody's wedding, and she gets there and realizes that her ex is a part of the wedding also. I haven't heard a lot of people talk about this one, so I'm pretty sure this is just like second chance romance. I don't really know anything more than that about it. I also feel like I'm very late to the game with this one, even though it's not like a super popular one. I heard people talking about this one like a couple years ago at this point, but Mary Jane by Jessica Anya Blau. This is a historical fiction. It takes place in the 1970s in Baltimore. Our main character is a 14-year-old girl. She's shy, quiet, and bookish, and she lands a summer job as a nanny for the daughter of a local doctor. I guess this family that she's nannying for is pretty chaotic and like has energy that she's not used to. The doctor is a psychiatrist, and he's helping a famous rock star dry out for the summer. A week after Mary Jane starts, the rock star and his movie star wife move in. Over the course of the summer, Mary Jane introduces her new household to crisply ironed clothes and a family dinner schedule, and has a front row seat to a liberal world of sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Caught between the lifestyle she's always known and the future she's only just realized is possible, Mary Jane will arrive at September with a new idea about what she wants out of life and what kind of person she's going to be. Just sounds like such a cute coming of age story, honestly. And it's been on my TBR for way too long, so it's time to take it off. Next, I'm going to be hopping on the Riley Sager bandwagon, and I'm going to pick up House Across the Lake. I've definitely heard some mixed reviews about Riley Sager's books in general, but they sound so intriguing to me, and I feel like most people say they're pretty good. I just feel like it wouldn't be summer without like a spooky, summery thriller. We're following Casey Fletcher, a recently widowed actress trying to escape a streak of bad press. She's retreated to her family's lake house in Vermont. She passes the time by watching Tom and Catherine Royce, the glamorous couple who live in the house across the lake. One day, she saves Catherine from drowning, and the two strike up a budding friendship. But the more they get to know each other, it becomes clear that Catherine and Tom's marriage is not as perfect and placid as it appears. When Catherine suddenly vanishes, Casey becomes consumed with finding out what happened to her. She finds out eerie, dark truths with this trademark blend of sharp characteristics, psychological suspense, and gasp-worthy surprises. Riley Sager's The House Across the Lake Blake unveils more than one twist that will shock readers until the very last page. It sounds like the perfect summer thriller, honestly. Next, I want to jump on the Annabelle Monaghan bandwagon, so I'm going to pick up her first book, which is Nora Goes Off Script. Nora is a romance channel screenwriter, but her too good to work husband leaves her and her 2 kids, and her marriage collapses. But her scandalous marriage and divorce is picked up for the big screen and set to film on location at her 100-year-old home. Leo Vance, who's the former sexiest man alive, is cast as her husband. After the shooting wraps, Nora finds Leo on her porch with a half-empty bottle of tequila and a proposition. He'll pay $1,000 a day to stay for a week, but it's the need in his eyes that makes her say yes. A lot of people talk about Annabelle Monaghan books being so good, and I love that a lot of her books have the single mom trope because I am a single mom and I just feel like I'll definitely relate to that. She has been on my list of authors to pick up for a while now, so I'm very excited. Had to move, you guys. The lighting is literally awful. But the last book that I have on my list is Passion Project by London Sperry. This one, again, is not one that a lot of people are talking about, but the people that have read it have said that it's so good and the description sounds right up my alley. We're following Bennett Taylor. She's a temp worker in New York City with no direction, no future, and no social life. And at the painful center of this listlessness is grief over the death of her first love. When she runs into Henry Adams just hours after standing him up for a first date, she makes an alcohol-fueled confession. She's not ready to date. In fact, it's been years since she felt passion for something. Rather than leaving her to ruminate, Henry jumps at the opportunity for adventure. Bennett needs to find a passion for life, and Henry will help her find it. I love it so much. If you didn't already know, I'm a widow, so anything with like grief, I know it sounds so heavy, but when grief is portrayed in a way that's like super realistic, it can really hook me and make me fall in love with a book. Grief is just an emotion that is, I think, personally hard to portray and hard to kind of like grasp unless you have been through it. And also for a long time, I felt the same way, kind of like lost in life. And now we're just getting a little bit personal, but I just feel like this book reminds me of myself, and I'm just very excited to see if it's something that I will like. I would love to know what is on your summer reading list. Definitely give me some like summery vibe recommendations down below. I would also love to know if you guys have read any of these books before. Let me know what your opinions are down below. But until next week, guys, bye!